Jamie, episode 2 of our vlog podcast.
Yet to be named.
Yet to be named. I mean, I've got some ideas, have you?
Yeah.
I've got some ideas.
Beauty and the Beast.
I thought more Quasimodo and Esmeralda. But hey, no, I think I've got some ideas. We have to check that no one else has got them yet. I think that's key. Okay, cool.
But we're on episode 2 now.
We're on episode 2 now. So episode 1, I think we got around 10k views in total across social media as a whole. I think the best performing so far, not that anyone really cares, but hey, facts out there. Best performing for views so far is Facebook, which is weird because it's something I use rarely.
Yeah, it's not known for its reels.
However, big up Facebook and their reels for that. Absolutely.
So it's a bit of an intro, wasn't it? Into
it was a little bit of an intro. We went off in a tangent, but that's really good, and we probably will do that quite a lot. But the idea of this is to obviously educate people. And also to bring a little bit of lightheartedness. PTs aren't always clipboards, and
relatable.
I think so. I'd like to think so. We're not all clipboards, are we, in Sergeant Major? Only when it has to be.
And yeah.
Only when it has to be. So we said we would lead this off with a little bit more about us, but only a little bit, so it's not entirely self-absorbed.
More about us as people rather than PTs.
Yeah.
Today.
So any other hobbies, anything else you do outside of PT?
So I've got quite a big family.
Yeah.
So it's like my other half, and we've got 4 kids between us. It's quite hard. I don't know. It's like switching from PT to then family person because I'm always thinking of new ideas for PT. But when I do get out of that zone, then it is like we'll go and do day trips, or we'll go for a walk down the beach or something, or take the kids to the park, or even if it's staying in and getting the kids to do crafts and stuff. They're all kind of like really staggered on ages.
Yeah.
So we've got like nearly 21, 12, 7 and 15 months. So there's quite a big gap in between each kid, but they get on like famously.
Yeah, that's lovely.
So yeah, it's kind of about that, and then like I do have, because I'm cool, I play Skittles. Okay.
Do you?
Night.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. Thursday night. So I have to rush from work at 8 o'clock, finish my shift, rush into Blandford, about half an hour away. It's a catch up with my mates basically, because like we've been friends for years and years, like since sort of 17, 18. And it's because we all move in different circles now, so our way of like getting together once a week, have a bit of a laugh and a joke. They'll have a few pints on. More often than not, I'm driving, so it's just a get together on a Thursday night, which actually now is finished until about September time. So, but yeah, so I do that, and then I kind of dip my toe in and out of rugby as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd like to take it back up again, maybe next season, but time is just like of a rarity at the moment to commit to training and then a game on a Saturday when I could be spending it with family. Yeah. So it's like, so yeah, other than that, it's pretty much like straightforward, really. That's about it. Most of my time is sucking up into the PT business. Which until that becomes, one day it will become automated or almost automated, which will give me that freedom, certainly through the week and weekends, hopefully, like that I don't have to do too much to it because it's all in place so that clients can sign up automatically, but that's going to take some time.
Do you know what? And I think it takes time, especially when you can get people that do the online thing straight away, little experience on the gym floor, little experience one-to-one, and then they don't have what it takes really to run a good online coaching business. And I've heard that, and I can see that. I went online first, as I sort of touched on before. There was a lot missing, and I know there was. It was okay, we did good, and there was a community, and it was really good, the support of a bigger company as well. But you need that one-to-one engagement. You need to know the people. You need to know, about everyone's different needs and wants and personalities, that then when you're online, you can sort of pick out if there's sort of any issues or anything, and know how to help them better through a computer if you're not face to face.
It's tricky, and there's so much more that goes on in online than meets the eye. I think when it first came about, it was literally you send somebody an Excel spreadsheet, and a workout plan, and do this. You know what I mean? Like now there's software, there's email lists, there's your social media strategies. It's a full-time job within itself. But you know, as you get better at it, and as your income becomes higher, you can actually then look to offload some of the work, maybe hire somebody as an employee. That's the goal, is to have staff eventually, which will then give me...
Look at that, entrepreneur!
But long way off and a lot of work to go yet, but it's getting there, it's alright, it's okay. I've got like a great online model, I just can't monetize it. My marketing, my social media is pretty bad at the moment. So if I could turn that into cash, then happy days.
Okay, so...
Right, about you.
Okay. Have I got time? I mean, come on, I'm joking.
Sarah, the non-PT. Who is she?
Sarah, the non-PT. So like you, a lot of my time goes into my PT business, into the nutrition side, a lot of it. I've got another business that it didn't do so well during COVID. It's a clothing business, so I buy and resell designer wear, a lot of sportswear as well, now that I'm just starting to bring back into that. It was thriving, did really well. And then we had lockdown, and then no one was buying designer clothes during lockdown. Quite right too, okay, quite right. So that sort of folded, but then a blessing in disguise, because I could sort of put more time into my PT business, building plans and different things. I also have a lot of involvement with my daughter, who's a performer. She does singing, dancing, acting. She does a lot of auditions. She does a lot of shows, so I watch her in shows. I also go to watch shows like West End and things with her. And sometimes I travel with her if she's going for an audition, just for moral support. Plus, it gets me back into the City of London, which I love. Who doesn't? Apart from my bank account, doesn't love it. Yeah, I spend a fortune, and then I come back home and go, oh, where's all that gone? You know, they've got to rebuild again. So there's that side, which is interesting, because probably years ago, I never would have seen myself as someone into musical theatre. It's something that's sort of in the back, sort of liked. I think I liked Cats when I was a kid, because it was something they played in first school, and it stuck in my mind, in my memory. Do you get it?
Do
you get it? No, you don't get it.
My
mum, get it?
What?
It's okay. Memory, one of the songs from Cats.
Oh, see, I was just
playing
about to
on
go
words.
Like, when we had the long car journeys as a kid, my mum would put on the Andrew Lloyd Webber collection.
Ace.
So I loved that sort. I loved the music,
Yeah.
like, you know, like Starlight Express, some Cat songs, but not Memory. I don't have any memory of that one. But
Right, okay.
Mr. Mistopheles.
Yes. Oh my
So
God, that was my
That's
favourite.
one of my favourites.
So
Phantom
good.
of the Opera. So I grew up on Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Oh
music.
wow.
So
Yeah, brilliant.
and Michael Jackson, bad.
Yeah, but he was cool.
And Eurythmics.
Wet.
No, she was like, yeah, Michael Jackson, Eurythmics, Andrew Lloyd
Tina
Webber,
Turner.
Hot Chocolate. Do you remember Hot Chocolate?
Yeah. Well, they were a bit before me, but I remember them. They were before, because they were 70s, weren't they? But then they were still in the 80s.
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I think they were, yeah.
And I've forgotten who else I was going to... Loads, anyway. Loads of that. But then my dad's more Roy Orbison and things like that.
Yeah.
Like old school. So all those things, I relate to that. But for me, I loved, still do, Take That and Robbie.
I've never
Yes. Eminem.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's my crush. I love Eminem. And there's probably loads more. New Kids on the Block when I was, not now. I don't mean not now, but they're not as relevant now. Some would argue, they sort of are. But that's when I was like in first school. I had an annual. I think I remember having an annual. I'm going back to the past now, but hey, an annual of New Kids on the Block, Neighbours, and Jason Donovan.
Oh wow.
So yeah, there's so much more. I've got friends, we go for coffee quite often. We just phone up, you know, I might not see one of my friends, I might not see her for like a week or 2 weeks. My friend said, coffee this afternoon? Yeah, great. We meet up for coffee and just chat about anything. And I love that, and it's so important. Then I've got my friends that I talked about that I knew when I was 16 through the days of Matalan and beyond. We catch up every now and again, and that's drinks, lunch, whatever, and that is crazy. How can I put it? Let's say the non-sensible side, but then I bring that out in the gym anyway, don't I? Because I think we're all sort of a similar age here, mostly.
Yeah, I'm not really a socialite that much.
Oh, less so now.
Like my day, through the week, my day is pretty much the same structure. That I'm in the gym for a few hours in the morning, and I'm at home for a few hours, like doing online stuff or helping with the baby or whatever. And then it's back to the gym.
Yeah, but that's good, because that's important. That's my day. Yeah, but that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. I think because my daughter's 20 now, we're really, really close, but she's got her life. We do a lot of stuff together, but there's obviously that she's older now, she drives, she's got her own jobs and stuff. So I think that's probably another reason why the theatre thing and going to London together and me going with her sometimes, that's when we sort of stay and keep that bond and we do things.
Have you prepared yourself for that day when she flies the nest?
Yes and no, I sort of have, because she was going to go for the past 3 years, and it's not quite happened, and she may be going. I don't want to put anything out there because we don't know quite yet. There's a few things that...
What do you do, like, if you come back to an empty house?
I'm cool with that, because I'm quite cool in my own company. I'm always busy. I'm never really alone, if that makes sense. I'm always occupied doing something. I don't sit at home and go, well, if I do that, I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I'm always finding something to do. So it's weird. I think if I'm at home, I find it hard to wind down until I'm really exhausted, so I get put a different way. If I go home and Jazz isn't there, which happens quite often because she'll be doing rehearsals till late or I'll work till late, so I come in, you know, and I'll probably find something to do, business, I'll get my head in my books or laptop, write programs, do something. I'm like, oh, I better go to bed now. So it's not, I'll be sad, I'll miss her and I'll be worried. I think worry is the biggest thing.
Will she move far, do you think?
She might do, yeah. So worry is the biggest thing, but if you think about it in another way, my brother lives in New Zealand and we were so close, really, really close, and I miss him. And if I think about it too much, I get really sad because I love him so much, like my brother. And he'd go, ugh, that's sick. But we're a close family, we really are. So he's in New Zealand, you cannot get further away. I had one best friend, he moved to Australia. I think we had this conversation, we didn't we? We laughed and said, everyone moves away, everyone drives away. But that's good, right? People have to have their life. They have to do what's right for them. And if you've got a good relationship with people, they're never really out of your life. They're a phone call away. They're, you know, there's travel and things now. Not that I really want to travel to New Zealand because it's so far.
Have you ever been?
No, because sitting still for that long, oh my God, I will go.
I'd take New Zealand over Australia any day.
Oh, I would, because of the
spiders.
Yeah.
Forget
oh
that.
my.
Australia has like all the worst animals.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely.
Sharks, spiders, snakes, alligators, crocodiles.
I'm fascinated with them though. Are you? I'm like, online I look at them and go, oh my gosh.
Who, what, spiders?
No, I just don't like them, no. But things like the snakes and stuff, I'll be like this, like, oh, you're okay there, but I'm fascinated. And crocodiles, alligators and things like that. I like to watch things like that. Not always the spiders, no, I can't. But I think I torture myself.
Like, one of my old school friends moved over there probably 15 years or more ago, and I think he come back to visit a few years ago, and he said that he's only actually seen one of those, like, you know, those real horrible spiders, the huntsmen.
Oh,
is it? He's only seen it like once or twice. He's seen them, so
do you know?
It's not that bad, I think.
My brother went before he lived in New Zealand, quite a few years before, 3 or 4 years before. He went to Australia for a year traveling, Asia, Australia, all around there, and he said he was just sat there casually on a veranda somewhere, out in the bush, I think it was, somewhere. They camped out in the bush. Oh God, I can't even think about it, it makes me feel ill. And he just sat there and he felt something on his arm and there was a massive huntsman, like, massive huntsman.
I'd burn the tent down.
Yeah, on his arm, just there, and he just went, ooh, and just Rob just sort of got him gently and put him off onto the ground.
No, that's a no from me.
Yeah, no from me as well. Anyway, do you know what, Jamie? I had a look, and we said we were going to just read out some facts that we found interesting, right? Didn't we? Sporting facts. Just because we're going to give you a little bit more than just chat. So this is what I found interesting. Did you know, Jamie? Sports have been played on the moon, right? Read this, or I'll read it to you. So hear this. In 1971, Alan Shepard and Edgar Mitchell made history when they became the first people to play sport on the moon. The Apollo 14 astronauts participated in what Mitchell later jokingly described as the first Lunar Olympics. I love the sound of that, Lunar Olympics. That's right up my street, because I didn't even mention I'm not so spiritual, a little bit spiritual, holistic. Gosh, hadn't finished talking about... Never mind. That's another side. Shepard hit a golf ball while Mitchell threw a makeshift javelin. It was actually a staff they'd used in one of their scientific experiments. So that's pretty cool. Facts, sports on the moon.
Question.
Go.
Why do they take a golf ball with them?
Well, they probably were playing.
Do they go to the moon specifically to play?
Well, maybe. Golf? Or maybe, I don't know what goes on in those rockets. They might just have I don't know, they might use it, do you think, like a bit putt-putt?
And has the javelin ever landed to this day?
Oh, okay,
Would it not just float?
We need to find out about that.
Could be a world
on
record.
the moon. Stop.
Duh.
It's the atmosphere. Hang on, no, because there is an element of gravity, isn't there, on the moon?
I have no idea.
Yeah, there is.
Is there?
Yeah.
Why do they wear the spacesuits? Do they?
Yeah.
Who knows?
There is. There's an element, it's just not like we have. Anyway.
So, I did read this earlier, obviously. One that made me chuckle was Michael Phelps, the famous swimmer.
Right.
Has won more Olympic gold medals than the entire of Mexico.
That's insane.
So in the whole history of the Olympics,
Yeah.
Mexico have not won as many gold medals as Michael Phelps did in, I think, 4 Olympics. I think he competed, 3 or 4. Mexico must feel pretty bad about themselves.
Maybe.
I feel pretty shit if I was Mexico right now.
Yeah.
Like, one man has beaten thousands of competitors that we've sent over the years.
That's insane, isn't it, though?
I mean, he was top of his game.
Many?
I got a feeling he won something like 28 medals.
Wow.
Olympic medals.
Well earned, if you put that much time and effort. I mean, sure, in Mexico,
And
the Olympians did.
Yeah, the majority of those were gold. I think he's had 1 or 2 silvers.
Yeah,
so he was obviously a phenomenal athlete.
You've got work to do, Jamie.
What?
For your Olympic title.
See, no. They need to bring in an older Olympics, I think, if they haven't already. You know, they've got walking football, for the older generation.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Can we do something with track and field as well? I used to be a sprinter in my day. I was a kid. I was lightning. I was running the 100 metres in about 11 seconds at 15, 16 years old. And I had Dorset county trials. I actually got ill right before the trials. Actually, the day before is when we found out that I had a peanut allergy.
What are you gonna say?
Peanut.
That's terrible. Have you really?
Used to. So, a bit of a story behind this. So the night before the county trials. Yes, I think you are. So the night before, right? I'm sat there at home and I've devoured half of a packet of peanuts.
Yeah.
Right? Peanuts.
Oh my god, my friends just asked me coffee today. Sorry, you know what I said?
In the middle
Sorry.
of the story, okay. So, I was doing the 200 metres the following day at Kings Park in Bournemouth. right? And for some reason, I couldn't really breathe properly. The whole of the next day, I was like, my chest was really tight. And there was a few people like in my race that I knew that I was quicker than because I've raced them before. But I come last, right? And I was like quite far last, and I just couldn't breathe, and I was like this. And my old dear was watching, and she's like, "You all right?" I was like, I can't breathe. Somehow, so I came 8th, right? But somehow qualified for the final. I was like amongst the fastest losers or something, right? So then I had to race again. Like, I've just come last. I'm gonna come last again. So anyway, no, it was a semi-final. That's right, it wasn't a final. And done the race, come last again, and I was wheezing all in the car on the way home. I was like, so I went to the doctors, had the tests, and they said, yeah, you're allergic to peanuts, which was devastating because I love peanuts.
Yeah.
I'd have like 4 or 5 slices of toast for breakfast. Devastated, had to wear like this little gold bracelet thing with a pin in it. Yeah. And like contact details and stuff, just in case. And at that exact same time, at the private school at Brightston, a student had like died of a peanut allergy, like ate part of a cookie or something, and died instantly. So my mum was like shitting herself. Anyway, so fast forward to when I get to like 18, 19, I started seeing this girl, and she's brought me some toast up in the morning, right? Peanut butter all over it. I didn't want to seem rude, so I ate it.
Jamie!
So, life or death situation, but didn't seem that had no reaction. This was what, 3-4 years after getting the allergy.
You risked it though.
Yeah, I would have been alright. I didn't have my bracelet with me because you don't wear them when you're 18.
No, you don't.
But yeah, had no reaction to it, been fine ever since.
Oh wow.
But then as a result, when I had my first child, because I had a peanut allergy, she wasn't allowed to eat peanuts until she was 5. And on her 5th birthday, I gave her a teaspoon of peanut butter. She didn't like it very much.
She didn't like it, but she was good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But that's turned out that is now kind of a bit of a mythical thing.
Sorry, I've just like literally not
because
on the camera.
I had my second child, and the doctor just said, no, don't worry about that. If she wants to have peanuts, she'll have peanuts.
Do you know, an interesting fact is, so you can grow out of an allergy.
Yeah.
You can also grow into an allergy.
Yeah, it comes and goes, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I'm allergic to Marmite, and it is tragic, it's sad, and I love it so much. So I'd have it as I was younger. It was a constant thing, right? Love Marmite. Just with butter on toast and Marmite, it's delicious. I love it so much. And then one day I started getting so ladies and gents will know when you get like filler in your lips, you sometimes get a little lump. I haven't had filler in my lips for 8 years, long time. But you get little lumps under here sometimes. You can do. So it was like that. It's like you got a lump, like a pea or something in your lip. But then, and that happened one day after having Marmite on toast, but I didn't relate it to the Marmite. Fast forward, next week or something, I had Marmite on toast, and this part of my lips swelled. It was hard. It was like rock solid hard, and it was like I'd had lip filler. Like this, right? My friend Trev sent me this funniest picture, like saying it was me. Anyway, I remember that, it's just come up. Still didn't think it was the Marmite, but didn't really get it. I think my eyes were swollen and everything else. And I didn't have it for ages. Then I had it again another time, and every so often I'd get my lips. And I thought, this must be Marmite. So I didn't have Marmite for ages.
Have you tried it recently?
Well, this is a story, right? I didn't have it for a couple of years, and I just salivated if anyone had, and I was like, I really love Marmite, I can't. So then a couple of years later, I was at home and I thought, I'm going to have some Marmite on toast just to see. And sure enough, full on, Full on, lips started to swell. I felt a little bit breathy, but I don't know if that was the panic going on. So I had to call 111. They sent out the paramedics and they had to do my bloods and everything. Let's check my. They're like, don't have it again because an allergy can get worse. So it's really weird. It can never be. It's always. I'm gonna say it's always best to go to a specialist in general if you've got an allergy, because it can get better, because sometimes people reintroduce things and it can get better, but I was also told it can get worse. And then since then I have had to go and I sort of research into intolerance, allergies and stuff, because then I was diagnosed with histamine intolerance. So if I have too much histamine in my body, I come out in a reaction. A lot of the time, puffy eyes, and that's like a symptom. And so you can build up histamine in your body in quite a lot. Too much histidine and things, which is in, like, if you have your essential amino acids and things, histidine is obviously one of those. Too much histidine is a precursor, well, histidine is a precursor for histamine. If I have too much histamine, I can come out in a reaction. So I have like a grass allergy. So in the summer, I can get a little reaction, hay fever, but if I have too much histamine or too much exposure to the grass pollen, and if I had Marmite, which I won't, or if I have something else that's a high in histamine, avocado, spinach, things I love, too much of these things, things like I want to say raw meats, pastrami, things like smoked salmon, aged meats, things like that, then my reaction is worse. Ouch. Interesting. Too much histamine. So, and I can come out in flu-like symptoms as well. So good topic, to be fair, on health and everything else. Allergies can improve. Go and see a specialist.
So hay fever's an allergy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I've never had hay fever my whole life up until about 2-3 years ago. And I can't say it's bad or anything like that, like, but I will start getting that horrible sneezy feeling in your nose, or like the occasional sort of like stream of the eye sort of thing. Nothing to like, it's not even worth buying something from the shop to counter it. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't happen like the whole summer. But I do think that I am developing into like
I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to ask you two things, I think. So I'll tell you one thing and I'll ask you a couple of things. So first of all, there's so many different pollens. So there's tree pollens and different types of tree, you know, different types of tree pollen and different types of like grass pollen, and then you get your flowers and all different things like that. So you may be allergic to one of those and none of the others, and all of a sudden it's in your area more, so you notice it. So it's not just one hay fever, one big pollen. There's so many different types. So I'm grass allergy, but not tree pollen, tree allergy. And you don't have to say, because obviously we're filming this, you don't have to say, did you have a COVID jab?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
And my theory, and me putting this out there, is you don't
I
have
think it. No, I think.
Which one did you have?
So I had.
AstraZeneca?
I think I can't remember. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was.
AstraZeneca was the more common one. Then it was Pfizer.
Yeah. So I only got the jab. We're going off slightly off topic here, but like I actually only had the jabs because I felt as though I had.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I didn't. Back then they were saying you couldn't do this if you hadn't got your jabs.
Yeah.
So like, and we were thinking of like, you know, going abroad and stuff. So I got my jabs, and it's not normally something I would have actually gone for. Then they said, oh yeah, you're not going to be able to go abroad unless you've had your booster. Mm-hmm. So the booster, I think, actually then was Pfizer. Right. So I had a bit of a mixture, I guess. Because
the only interesting thing that I'm going to put a theory out here, and I'm not a scientist, don't claim to. I do nutrition. I research into allergies and things like that, and the gut health and things. And when I researched about the vaccines, so I've had a vaccine. It took me a lot to research and decide whether to have it or not. I've always been pro vaccines in the right situation, but I felt it was forced in a time when we had to make a snap decision. And I don't judge anyone for their reason to have it or to not have it. But when I researched the AstraZeneca, it's got histidine in it and it's cell-based. So when I looked at that and I saw the histidine, okay, I thought, hang on a minute, if it's histidine cell-based, that going into my body is going to potentially make my allergies worse. Because why would I put a precursor in my body more? It's going to make me worse. And that's why I didn't have it. And I did sort of mention to my friend about this. I can't remember if I think I mentioned to it loosely. She went on. And then her husband, and I won't say who, but her husband then started, after having the AstraZeneca, started having more allergies when he never had them before. And I've only mentioned it now because I don't want to put anyone off it, because that's really irresponsible. That was just my theory. And I would always say, if people are watching this, do your own research, don't listen to me. I'm not a scientist or anything else like that. Just because you said, like, over the past 2 to 3 years, which may have been started when you had a jab potentially, but there's no proof on what I've just said. It's just theory. Yeah, it's just theory. But that's what I'm sort of thinking. There we are. So that's that.
It's weird how there's no boosters or anything anymore.
There's not, is there? Only for a certain age, I think, is there?
I haven't heard anything about COVID ages.
No, I mean, I've had it twice. Have you had it?
Yeah, at least once.
Yeah, I was really poorly the first time.
So we had it.
Second time, but less so.
It's real weird, because like, Laura got it. It was on a Saturday.
Which is your other half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your better half.
She was pregnant. She was my other half. Okay, we are equals. Okay. She was pregnant, and so she felt ropey on the Saturday daytime. I think we were due to go and go out for a bite to eat in the evening. We had no kids, and then she did a test as a bit of just a precaution, and then come back positive.
Oh, gosh.
She was really quite bad with it. Now, her son was away with his dad they got like a camper van to Wales, but they were coming back on the Sunday for a quick stopover to go to a christening, and then they were going to go to Devon for like the second half of their holiday. So he come back on the Sunday, did a test on him as a precaution, he was positive. So I'm there like, at this time, even though I didn't have it, I still had to isolate for 10 days because I was in the house with somebody who had it. So I was like, text messaging the manager of the gym that I was at, saying, look, I've got to isolate. I haven't got it, but my missus is pretty bad with it. So that was a Saturday, and then I got it on the Wednesday. And I knew that day that I was going to test positive. You know, when you can just feel it. I felt it just here. Had it, I felt grotty for about half a day, and then I was fine. But because I got it on the Wednesday, my isolation timer reset, so I had to start 10 days again. So I ended up having like 2 weeks off of work.
Yeah, what a fact.
When I was ill, not even, like, I wasn't ill enough that before COVID I wouldn't have taken any time off work. Do you know what I mean?
But I think there was a lot of vulnerable people that weren't exposed to it, so we had to be a bit careful. I think,
absolutely.
Back then.
I get it, 100% get it. But yeah, she had it quite bad to the point where we phoned, is it 111, just for some advice, and then they sent like a paramedic car over. We didn't actually know that they were coming. They sent her over and they did the oxygen saturation levels, and she was fine. But yeah, it's like she'd go up the stairs and she'd be like out of breath.
Yeah.
Like, or she'd be led in bed and she'd be like struggling to catch her breath, sort of thing.
It's not good, but all turned out okay and well and fine.
Yeah. Everything's fine. Like, fortunately, touch wood, like no one in our family really had it.
Yeah.
Bad, like, you know, to the point where there's hospitalisation or anything like that. But yeah, the whole thing was a very strange period of our life.
Yeah, nasty.
Like 10 years ago, if somebody had told you that you were going to have 6 months off work with pay or some pay, furlough, whatever, you'd have laughed, wouldn't you? You'd have laughed at someone. 6 months off work.
I didn't get pay. I was self-employed.
Did you not get paid from it?
No, because I was self-employed before then, doing my nutrition. No, nutrition and clothing business, and online.
So you weren't here?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was actually part. Yes, I was. Okay, I was here, for part of it. So I joined when there was a little gap, and we were easing ourselves back in.
Summer.
Right. You know when we eased ourselves back in, and it was a September, around then, September, October, I don't think it was around then. And I started here, and then we went into lockdown. I think I did one day.
We had that 1 month lockdown, didn't we?
Yeah, I went one day. Remember. That's right. I think that's right.
And then it was the 3 months again.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve.
So I worked in this. Sorry, when we say here, we're on about our gym that we currently work in. But before then, I was self-employed I had online nutrition clients. I was doing some kind of online training with some of them, but predominantly it was nutrition and my clothing business. So I didn't work for a company, and that's been me pretty much for years, self-employed.
Did you manage?
Yeah, I did. It was fine. I did a lot of home workouts. It was different because I was doing a lot of, I want to say, power before I went into lockdown, so I was lifting heavy. When it came to lockdown, I had to totally change that, and I was doing more walking, which is great. It was healthy. Daily walks, workouts at home, because I've got the barbell, I've got a bench and weights and everything. We did silly things like Jasmine was doing her A-levels at the time, so she was quite busy doing that, so I was just doing business stuff that, I said I had that other business. It started to decline as people weren't buying things, so I had to sort of think outside the box. I might have been studying. Do you know what? Some of it's a blur. We did do things like karaoke. I think I got videos of us doing karaoke where you get like stir crazy. Come on, let's do some karaoke on the telly. Do you know what I did love? I didn't love queuing up to go to the supermarkets. We did that rare. What I did love though, we live near, I don't know if anyone knows, like Pamp Hill area, but out near sort of borderline country. I loved my little 20-minute walk down to the country store to get eggs and like your basic flour and stuff, and I was doing a lot of home cooking from scratch.
Yeah, people were different.
Yeah, and I love that because I like that anyway. I'm very much someone that
there was a lot less traffic on the roads. That first lockdown was really quite good, because I actually noticed, because we live right sort of on the edge of the heath, right, so I noticed that the weather was better, and I think that's because there's less traffic on the roads, less pollution. You could hear, like birds and stuff, like it just seemed like it was maybe 20 years ago.
I'm with you.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it was great for that, but part of it wasn't, and I found it quite humbling in some respects and appreciated payback. I'm just messing. I think you appreciated things more. That's how I felt, and there were times it was quite emotional. I mean, I get like that anyway at certain times. You said you didn't so much, do you? But no, I do. When everyone, to begin with, when it first started, and I know there was this big thing of the controversy of people saying it takes the mick about, clapping for the NHS and everything else. And I get a part of that, but I also get some of us at our homes when we're just saying like genuinely thank you and clapping and in unison. A time when I would look out my window and see all my neighbours. A lot of them are elderly where I live as well around there, and like the little kids, I mean, like everyone clapping and whatever, their saucepans. I know it's funny now, but at the time it got me. When we first did that, I was really emotional with it. And you know what? I painted for when the kids were allowed to go to school. I think we had to all stay in. I can't quite remember. It's part of a blur. But I painted with acrylic paints on my windows like a rainbow and a sun and all different things like that, so that when the kids were walking past, they could see it in the window.
When they used to do that clapping, was it like a Thursday or something?
A Thursday.
So on one of them, me and my other half decided that at about 2 minutes to 8, we were going to cycle down to Asda. So of course we're cycling through the housing estates while everyone's stood outside. Thank you.
I love that. That is so funny.
Felt like I was in the Tour de France.
That's funny because I was getting cross when people would go past in their car at that time, and I'd be like, why are you not standing there clapping? What is wrong with you? So if I saw you going past, I would have booed you.
There's always one hater.
There's always one, yeah. But there we are. Anyway, we sort of landed on a subject I never thought we would talk about, and it came about by accident, didn't it? But that's the way it is.
The beauty of these podcasts.
And we'll sort of wrap it up, but that is another topic that we could cover, maybe lead on next time, about training post-COVID, because I also know I've seen a few people in the gym at the moment that have just had COVID again, because it is doing the rounds, and they're struggling with
long COVID as well.
Yeah, and they're struggling with exercise. So maybe we could lead the next one with a little bit of advice on that. Do you think so? And then wherever it takes us.
Wherever it takes us. Who knows?
Who knows?
Part of the mystery.
It is, but yeah, good one, Jamie.
Cool, excellent.
Okay,
Right,
I'm gonna shake your hand, but hey,
until next time.
High five.
High five.
High five. Yes.
Shake your hand.
Shake your hand. Bye.